Universal Monsters get their own channel. Leslie Vernon Universe expands. And Svengoolie Coast to Coast. All on this Wednesday edition of Spill the Guts.
I like it spooky.
Hello and welcome. My name is Clint, and when I am not co-hosting on the I Like a Spooky Horror podcast every other week, I am here with your horror genre news every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Speaking of news, let's get into some, because today is Wednesday, July 12th, and this just in.
The time has come.
Where are we?
Look. Look and wonder.
First story of the day is from Universal Monsters Universe on Facebook, and came to me from the Svengoolie fans group page on Facebook, who shared an article from sci-fi.com relating the exciting information that NBC Universal has announced a new partnership with Xumo Play and Amazon Freevee to bring more than 24 new channels packed with NBCU Vault material to the Freevee platform this summer. The specific date has not yet been announced, but the channels will range in subject matter from unscripted TV to news and sports to classic shows of all genres pulled from NBCU's vast archive of programming, and they'll be available to watch completely free anytime, including the classic Universal monsters who will be lurking among the selections.
Listen to them, children of the night. What music they make.
Everybody thinks we just wake up one morning and start obsessing about a girl and start stalking her, killing everybody that gets in the way.
You have no idea who you're dealing with.
HorrorSociety.com reports that the Behind the Mask Leslie Vernon universe is expanding with, wait for it. No, really, wait for it. That's the title of the short film. Creator and screenwriter of the cult hit horror comedy Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, David J. Stevie's directorial debut short film, Wait For It, is currently on its festival run. The synopsis reads that it is set within the same universe as Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. Wait For It is a loving deconstruction of the slasher genre, seen from the perspective of survivor girl Darcy, played by Lily Ann Harrison, who is living in the aftermath of her own encounter with a psycho slasher killer. We follow Darcy as she travels home from a night out with friends, always remaining wary of the inevitable return of her tormentor. Executive producer Chris Georski says, after its initial announcement, we immediately had festivals reach out to us about submitting to them. We've already played at some, including the Portland Horror Film Festival, where David participated in a Q&A, and it was very well received by an almost packed house. We're very grateful and looking forward to screening at more festivals we have lined up in the fall, but we can't announce just yet. The short is written and directed by Stevie, produced by Amy Larson and Dan Cerwanka, and executive produced by Steve Squilanti from The Autopsy of Jane Doe, Professor, 13 Sins, and Locke, Chris Georski, Don't F in the Woods 1 and 2, The Wicked One, Stranded, and Head, Richard Stringham from Close Calls, 13 Fanboy, and 1031, and Russ Trout. It's what I call an Easter basket of slasher moments, about how a survivor girl copes with the monotony of day-to-day life after her experience, always looking over her shoulder, always waiting for something to happen, because she knows that one day her boogeyman will eventually return, but most days aren't that day. Wait for it, let me explore this in a way that throws back to classic horror tropes with a Leslie Vernon-style spin on it, says director David J. Stevie. Obviously, after the WGA strike is over and the writers get a fair contract, we have several ideas of how to spin off this expansion to make more films in the Leslie Vernon universe. The positive reaction to it has definitely proven there is a loyal following who want more from this world, and we want to deliver on that. So contact your local film festivals, especially the horror ones, and tell them you want to see Lillian Harrison, Ashley London, and the man behind the mask himself, Nathan Basil, in Wait For It.
We got film in those cameras, boys.
Don't you get it? We're in this now. We're part of this equation.
We're right where he wants us. All of us.
And now we must take a short intermission and pause for station identification and hear from our podcast network, the PFPN.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
Calling all stations. Clear the air lanes. Clear all air lanes for the big broadcast.
Last story of the day also comes to us from the earlier mentioned Svengoolie fan group Facebook page that contained an article from thedesk.net which reports that DirecTV and Weigel Broadcasting have inked a distribution agreement that brings the retro television channel MeTV to viewers across the nation. The deal makes DirecTV the only satellite company to offer MeTV from coast to coast. Dish Network offered the channel to its subscribers until last December. The companies announced on Monday that customers of DirecTV Stream also have access to MeTV. In a statement from Weigel Broadcasting, Vice Chairman Neil Sabin said MeTV is memorable entertainment television, making it a uniquely valuable addition to the DirecTV channel lineup. We couldn't be happier to seal this deal, which allows us to add MeTV beyond the existing markets and deliver some of the most cherished and timeless television ever made to DirecTV subscribers coast to coast. In addition to the market-sharing capabilities open from this deal, it also expands carriage of MeTV on AT&T Uverse, where the retro network has been offered since it launched in 2012. AT&T Uverse customers gain the ability to watch MeTV in high definition 3 years later. MeTV offers classic comedies and dramas like The Andy Griffith Show, All in the Family, Batman, The Brady Bunch, Gunsmoke, Leave It to Beaver, MASH, Matlock, and Perry Mason. Several years ago, MeTV launched a new cartoon block on Saturday mornings that included classic animation like The Flintstones, The Jetsons, and Bugs Bunny and Friends. It is also the flagship network for the parody horror franchise Svengoolie, which has a significant cult following. Which is perhaps the real story here, that now even more people will be able to drink the Kool-Aid, connect with Svengoolie, hear Kerwin's jokes, and enjoy classic horror flicks. And that's a wrap on this Wednesday edition of Spill the Guts. But before I go, I need to remind you that you can stay connected with the I Like It Spooky Horror podcast on all major social media platforms, to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and to join me here again this coming Friday for more news on another edition of Spill the Guts.
Hey, what's wrong with you, man? Show some fucking respect for the dead, will ya?